What is up, everyone? This is not an episode of Wrestling Reverb. This really isn't even an episode of the Josh Robinson Show. This is just me talking into a microphone for the next half an hour or so, just to kind of clear up some uncertainty going on with me and the kind of rest of the, I guess, former Brainbusta team. But I'm not here alone. I have got a couple members of the team with me. First and foremost, I have Queen. Say hello, Queen. Make yourself known.
Hi, I'd ask how you are, but I already know.
Yeah. I also have Mags is here. Mags is here as well.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of... Oh, no, we're not doing the Badlands anymore, are we? That's done. It's really not done, but yeah, it's a sad situation, and I think doing this will be kind of cathartic for us, getting our thoughts out, even if we've not even been able to process those thoughts internally yet. It's just a weird situation. So yeah, I'm glad you're doing this, Josh. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, of course, it was kind of on the back of my mind. I've been tweeting and doing a few little live videos, but it seems to be that no one really knows what's going on. Now, apologies everybody, I have got a little bit of a cold, so I'm not holding my nose with a peg. I've got a bit of a cold, so bear with it. But, okay, first and foremost, for anyone that doesn't really know the situation, I'm not going to rehash the whole thing because this talk is not about dragging anybody or really going through in depth what happened with the situation because, listen, Queen, Mags, I'm pretty sure everyone can agree that we just want that issue to be put to bed. Yes?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we don't want to... We've kind of had to... The situation happened, and what we're left with is kind of bearing the brunt of this situation really now, is just going through the motions and having to defend a situation that... Listen, Queen, Mags, I'm pretty confident and I can speak for you in this, into saying that we didn't really know the full story.
No, I definitely did not. And I knew the history, but I knew some of the history between Wilf and Sean Ross Sapp. I didn't know that it was going to flare into this, and I certainly didn't know that Brainbusta was gonna be no more. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, and for you, Queen, I know that we've chat and stuff like that. We didn't really know what was going on either, for the full extent anyway. We knew enough, but we didn't know everything.
Yeah, and and for me and from my point of view on that, and I'm sure y'all will agree, that's not really anybody's business, and that sort of is what's causing a lot of this problem, is that this issue, this problem that they had together has been put on full blast now, and we may have heard some things or known some things, from whoever side. It doesn't really matter, and that's kind of what I want to say. I don't really care about who did what to who or how that happened. I'm not here to speak on that because that's not my business. Unfortunately, what became my business and became our business is the after effects of that. So I feel like for us, it was more so like, okay, this is happening and that's something that y'all should handle, but that's unfortunately not how it transpired, and now we have to deal with the after effect, really.
Yeah,
and that's why I've made the comment to say that we were the collateral damage. I was definitely not assigning blame. I don't want to get involved in that argument. Like you said, it was not our business, but we've had to deal with the backlash of that, unfortunately, and it's meant that this great team has been demolished. For me, my personal, the way that it went down, I was recording a lot of podcasts yesterday. I think I did 7 hours of recording altogether for various different projects. I came out of the recording session almost. I went into our group thread, and it was all over apparently, and the group was dead in no uncertain terms. And for me, it hit me like a sledgehammer, because I look at you guys as as friends, we've become really, really close. We've supported each other through not just the podcasting stuff, but real life, personal stuff, real issues that people in open Twitter will never hear about. We were that support network for each other. I mean, you guys know stuff that I've gone through recently. I know stuff that you guys have gone through, and it's like in one fell swoop that was crushed. And that's really, really has affected me. I'm not normally an emotionally charged kind of person, but that has really, really affected me.
Yeah, it has. We have all become friends. Now, obviously, I don't have all of us on here. It's impossible just to get everybody on at the same time. But I know that they're kind of, for the most part, their outlook is they want to keep continuing what they're doing. Now, I'm kind of glad that used to on this, because for you guys, for Badlands and for Queen's Court, it didn't have. You started with Brainbusta, like your stuff was Brainbusta, made. For me, it's a little bit different because I had Reverb before Brainbusta. Certainly, it wasn't really gaining any traction before Brainbusta, but I had a feed. So for you guys really have to start from the ground up in terms of having your own feed and continuing on. Now, I know that I've spoke with Luke, and for him, I mean, obviously his co-host is no longer on Twitter. I mean, Wilf is just gone, and again, that's not for us to speak on. That's Wilf's decision at the end of the day. But for Luke, he lost a co-host. He's probably not going to continue with podcasting, he said, but that's for him to speak on. But I know he did say that to me and kind of mention it. But Queen, you started Queen's Court when a Brainbusta started. I know you were on a couple of other shows, and you certainly were podcasting, but you didn't have your own standalone show. To clear up any uncertainty for anyone that doesn't know, what is your plans with Queen's Court going forward?
Yeah, Josh, that's exactly right. So I had just begun my first little toe into the water with DYWTSB right when Brainbuster started being formulated and Wilf asked me to be on. So I didn't have any sort of platform at all when this started, and I built Queen's Court, and I'm starting all over again. So that's for me been the thing that I'm trying to scramble to do, because if I don't put certain things in place, then I can't do what I normally do. And I don't want to take a week off. All this other stuff aside, this is a very important wrestling weekend for a lot of us. Yeah. This is why I'm here. I want to talk about wrestling. I want to find good people who want to talk about wrestling with me. So for me, it's been like, well, now I don't have a house. It's what I feel like. Like, okay, I'm homeless, quote unquote, in a way. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So for me right now, what I'm putting into place is my Podbean, which is the Queen of Any on Podbean, and I should be on iTunes and Spotify imminently. I'm just waiting on the approvals. Of course, y'all know in the podcasting world, you got to wait for the emails for that. But that's what I've been able to do, luckily, within the last 24 hours. So they will be out on my own personal feed, on my own home. Everything's staying the same on Twitter. Nothing changes. I didn't have a show account for Queen's Court, so it's just me. At the Queen of Any, so all of my stuff will be there. Any announcements of what I have in the future will be there. I used to do Talk It Tuesdays with BBR on BBR TV on Twitch. Obviously, that is no longer, so I have my own Twitch, and I am trying to put that together so I'm able to do my episode on Tuesday. I am hoping that that's possible. I'll keep you posted. Stay tuned for that. So the biggest thing is everybody wants to know that's been DMing me and stuff. My show's still coming out on Wednesday. It is still Queen's Court. Nothing is changing in that regard. I'm still doing my holding court segments. I'm still going to do Queenie chats. Everything is the same other than where I'm going to be. That's all that's different. I will just be on my own. So I will, as soon as I have everything, link it for you guys so you can hopefully please subscribe and listen to me by myself, which is a little crazy to say and sad, and there's other things I want to say about that. But I also want to say that the hashtag Queen and Pup Connection is still happening. Oh, yeah. That's not going anywhere. We will still release on Wednesdays together. That's not changing whatsoever. So that's what's generally happening for me right now.
Yeah, so that's the first and foremost thing, is that people want to know what's going on with Queen's Court, what's going on with Badlands, just because they didn't have a feed. Now, we'll get into some other stuff in a minute, but Mags, what's going on with Badlands? I know that you've kind of said that you definitely want to continue with Badlands, but what's the kind of gist of what's going on with you and Paul?
Yeah, much like Queen, this was a Brainbusta concept, so we didn't have a secondary feed for it to air. And we also had the added issue of it's not just my show; it's a show that I do with Paul. Paul is as integral a part of Badlands as I am. I may be the vocal one, the face of the show almost, but Paul is absolutely 100% part of the show, definitely. So I had to basically liaise with Paul. Now, Paul, unfortunately, this weekend was away celebrating his daughter's birthday. So we also had that where we couldn't make a decision. We couldn't get together and decide exactly what the future holds for Badlands. We spoke for a little while, and we both definitely continuing. The show is not going to change at all. We're still going to have the same kind of format. We're still going to have lots of amazing guests on the show. That's definitely not going to change. But one thing I do want to say is, as awful as the community kind of got with this whole situation, they gave back in spades, because the love and support that not only Badlands has got, but I've got personally, and I know that a lot of the team have got, has been absolutely unreal. I've had countless offers of spots on networks, and networks that I didn't even think would even have my show on their radar. But again, I can't say to you that this is exactly what we're going to do, because me and Paul haven't thrashed out our kind of plans. We're getting together tomorrow. We're going to look over all our options. Are we going to start a new feed for the show? Are we going to take one of these offers of a network up? Are we going to go with Paul's obviously got a network with the Five Nerds Go team? Are we going to go with that? I can't really let you know either way yet, because it's not my decision, but please be rest assured that this show is not going anywhere. This show is we will be releasing this week. Fingers crossed, if we can get our head straight about where the show is going, and we'll still be having the same amazing guests on. Josh is still got to come on. We're definitely going to have Queen on again, because that episode was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so the show is not going anywhere. It's just a shame that we don't have that formality of the group anymore.
Yeah, for me, Reverb isn't changing. It's still going to release every Friday. I mean, I already upload to my own feed anyway, so it's just, you won't find it on, obviously, Brainbusta feed anymore, because it's no more, but you'll still catch my stuff, whatever I'm doing. As for, I had a lot of stuff to do with BBR TV. I don't think many people knew that, but, I was planning a lot of things. I did, simulations and stuff. I still plan to do that stuff. It'll just be on my Twitch channel instead of the BBR TV one, I guess. So I still plan to do that. I can have probably a little bit more freedom just to exactly do it exactly how I want to do it, but it's not going to change anything. I'm still doing all of my content that I do in a week, so everything just comes to my stuff, my feeds, instead of Brainbusta or whatever you were kind of watching on with Brainbusta if you're watching BBR TV. So it just all moves to my stuff. I'm not changing anything that I do. The mentality is still the same, and we're still the rest of the BBR squad, or former BBR squad, is still very a tight knit. We're still got a group chat. We're still supporting one another. We're still going to listen to each other's shows. We're still going to be friends with one another. We've all made friendships with one another, so I don't think that's going away at all. So, I mean, on the surface, a lot has changed, but internally, I think we're all still kind of pretty tight. So that's a good thing. Now, Queen, this whole, let's just call it a mess, because that's what it was. It was a mess. This whole mess of a situation. I know that when it was kind of going down, we were kind of just DMing each other just to kind of be like, what the fuck's going on here? We don't really know what's happening. I don't think anyone realizes this wasn't like a long, stretch of things. This was just kind of like boom, 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 and then we were like, oh, it's done. So I know that you personally, Queen, have been pretty hit by this just situation. Show aside, podcasting aside, what's your kind of mentality with all of this going on in the wrestling Twitter world? Not even just this situation. There seems to be a lot of ugliness going on just in general, and I just don't think it's really necessary.
Yeah, it's not. I'm generally disappointed. I'm disappointed in a lot of things, by a lot of things that I've seen posted, by a lot of reactions that I've seen, by a lot of DMs that I've received. I'm disappointed. And I think that the mentality of not just in wrestling Twitter, but any part of Twitter or in any part of social media, and even in our world, it's a lot of reactionary mentality and a lot of things that I just don't think are appropriate. I think if a lot of us would just think before we type, myself included, it would help a lot. And that kind of stuff really bothers me a lot, and it makes me disheartened. However, what I'm going to say is that within the last 24 to almost 48 hours, as we're getting here, have shown me some of the greatest parts of why I love wrestling Twitter.
Yeah.
And the amount of support, love, DMs, retweets, like comments, all of that stuff that have poured in from everybody who we're friends with, and some even that we're not friends with, just to say, hey, like, I saw this is going down, want to make sure you're okay, and like, you know, you'll be fine, and all whatever it was very humbling and nice to see that our listeners and even friends of our friends can recognize that, you know, the rest of us here are trying to navigate through this whole thing. We're putting out fires. We're trying to say what's going on without exposing, you know, lots of other things that no one else needs to know. That's my point, right? And the amount of positivity that's been shown to me personally, to us as a group, is really dope, and that I really like a lot. And I felt, you know, I felt very good about that aspect. And, you know, as for our team, we were a family before, we'll be a family after. That's not going to change. If that was going to change, that we wouldn't be friends, and that's just not the case. It's just not the case with us. So, it's not. You know, I still want you guys on the shows that I do, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, what are you going to do now?" And we're like, "Well, we don't know, but what we do know is that just because we're not under an umbrella together, the
fundamentals of what we were doing didn't require, you know, a network or something like that. We were all still independently doing our own stuff. It was just more so we're under the umbrella of Brainbusta, which isn't discrediting Brainbusta at all. It's just we were all doing, you know, it's not like we were relying on one another to be like, you have to record here or you have to record here. It was just you record, you upload, and then, you know, Wilf took care of the, you know, the nitty gritty stuff. But we all know what we're kind of we're doing in that aspect. So the fundamentals and the core of our shows won't change. It's just this ugliness that's surrounding it. But you're right, Queen. The support that, I'll speak for myself in this situation, but I know a lot of you guys, a lot of the team has received it as well. The DMs, the retweets, the comments, the views, like the views on a live video, whatever it may be, just the support and love from 95% of wrestling Twitter. Even if you don't really talk, even if you didn't even think that you interacted with this person, has just come out and said, hey, I'm sorry this is happening, because I'm pretty sure everyone can see from the outside that at the core of the problem, none of the rest of the group were involved in this. We're literally just trying to scramble our way through and go, hey, maybe don't drag the situation under the bus yet, because we've still got people under this umbrella that you're kind of dragging with it, and we did nothing wrong. I think that's the main thing, is that we were not involved in any of this stuff. And I'm not saying, I respect everybody involved in this situation. I have no problem with anybody involved in this situation. That's what I want to get across here, is that the reason I'm doing this podcast is not to be like, fuck that guy, fuck this guy. It's not that at all. It's literally the fact that I respect a lot of these people within this situation, and I have no problem with these people in this situation, because they done nothing wrong to me, and I understand that both sides did a lot of shit wrong. Let's just be clear on that. Like, both sides did a lot of shit wrong, both sides did a lot of shit right, and it just got escalated into one giant mess. No matter who's at fault, the situation happened, this is where we are now, and we've got to move forward as a group. And not only that, as individuals making podcasts, because I set out over a year ago to do this stuff. I do like so many different things now because of wrestling Twitter, and just because I want to exercise my creativity and have some fun. I started Wrestling Reverb back last July because I just want to have fun. I want to talk about wrestling. I want to interact with people all over the world. 99% of the time, I've done that. I can pretty confidently say that I make a fun wrestling podcast. Well, I'd like to think so. I don't really like to stroke my own ego too much, but I like to think that all of us make fun wrestling podcasts, and we just want to talk about wrestling or whatever and just have fun. We don't want to bring any negativity in the world. I can preach that pretty confidently and say that I'm trying to spread a little bit of positivity into wrestling Twitter, because it can be a dark place, but it can be a great place. And I'm not trying to preach or anything here, but I'm just saying that that's what I started to do. That's what I intended to do when I started this podcast, and that's what I intend to do now. I don't intend to get in any drama. I don't intend to start any fires. I just want to make fun wrestling content. I know that Queen and Mags, you would agree with that. You just want to make fun shows.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that was always the essence of Badlands, and I can't remember an episode of Queen's Court where I've not had fun listening to him. So yeah, that was the whole point of Brainbusta as a group, as an ethos, and it is a shame that it's happened. But one thing I really do need to say is, if you are listening, Wilf, get in touch with some people, speak to some people. Yeah, you might feel that the whole wrestling Twitter world is against you, but there is still people here who do give a shit about how you're feeling, and we just want to know that you're okay. We just want to know that you're getting the help that you need. So please just get in touch and just let us know how you're doing.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
agree.
right.
I agree. We still, if Wilf as they're all listening to this, we still, we cannot control how anyone reacts. You cannot control how anybody reacts. You only can control your intention. But it's sometimes not about your intention of a post. It's sometimes, or whatever, it's about the reaction. And anyone is entitled to react the way they want to react on any side of the fence. So, we cannot, sit here and throw stones at Wilf for doing this, because that's best for him. So what's best for him is best in my eyes, at least, in going, okay, you do what you need to do this, and if we'll take we'll do what we need to do to continue on with what we're doing. So this isn't to drag anyone anyway, but it's just, the whole situation was a lot for all of us to deal with, because we didn't want to start any more problems, but we also didn't want to see people spreading false information.
Right.
I commend Luke for what he did in kind of explaining the situation. I know it started a lot of, as it would, people are going to react and defend themselves, but I kind of, say good on Luke for just putting the whole story out there and just trying to, I know Luke's intention was just to try to put this to bed while giving people some answers on why the fuck Brainbusta wasn't going on. I didn't realize how many people listened to Brainbusta until this weekend, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-boggling to go, wow, a lot of people care. Like, I as soon as this came out, as soon as the Twitter account was deleted, you're just seeing comments. I'd seen comments on just random tweets of mine saying, am I still going to get to hear Wrestling Reverb on Friday? It was probably the same for you guys. And I'm like, well, I don't even know. I'm still processing what the fuck's just going on. And then even when I was making tweets, people were like, where are we going to find it? Where are we going to do this? And it's just, I needed to do this not alone. I needed to have someone on here. I'm glad to thank you guys for, of course, being here. But it was just been a lot to deal with for something that shouldn't be anything to do with, because let's be honest, you guys know what kind of goes on in my life. I've told you some things, which I'm not going to even begin to even explain on here, but I've told you some things, and Twitter is really my escape to get away from all of that. Wrestling is my escape to get away from all of that. So I just want to continue that. I don't want to have to go on Twitter and see 40 notifications of people just going back and forth at one another, because That's not what I'm about at all. I'm not an argumentative person, especially when it's not my argument to argue in.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, I feel the same way with that for sure. I'm not that girl. I don't get in Twitter drama because it's not my thing. And at the end of the day, it's wrestling Twitter. Like, I know who my friends are and I know what I need to do. I'll speak out if something needs to be spoke out about, but I'm just not that girl. I don't promote that kind of stuff. It's not my thing. I want to promote positivity. I want to talk wrestling. I got no problem with that. I just want to have a good time. That's what I'm here on Wrestling Twitter for, and that's why I do my show. And I know that for all of us here, that's all we want. And I'm hoping that, like, this puts some of that questioning to bed. Like, we're gonna be okay, guys. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be out there doing our things, whatever that may be. Stay tuned. You know what I mean? And I just don't want anybody to feel like, oh my God, it's gone. It's not gone. The essence of what we have been doing is still there. It's just, like I said before, it's not under the umbrella anymore. So don't worry. We're still going to do what we do. As long as y'all keep listening, we'll keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree. Mags, anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah, I can only echo what Queen just said then. It hit us as much as it hit the people in open Twitter. They knew as much as what was going on as we did. So we were just like you, except we were caught in the middle of this big storm. We're all going to survive. We're all going to thrive. We're all going to work together. We're all going to still be friends. That's the simple fact of it. We're just not going to be under this formal umbrella of a podcast network anymore. That's the be all and end all. If unfortunately we lose listeners because of it, I've never been the kind of guy that even looks at my analytics. If one person listens, that's happy enough for me. Yep. If we still get the same amount of listeners, if we get more listeners, more power. But I'll still be creating fun wrestling content. I'll still be talking to these guys on Why We Watch. I'll still be doing about actual real fighting on 5 Rounds Pod. I'll still be chucking out this content because I enjoy doing it, and that's the simple fact of it. This story will blow over. This will be an old story next week. There'll be someone else's drama going on. But we'll still be creating content. I'll still be looking out for Queen. I'll still be there promoting her stuff. Same with Josh, same with Headlock Talk, Pup, Conrad, all of them. These guys, I even if I weren't part of the network in the first place, I've said to them before, I still would have listened to their shows because they churn out quality content. And we at Badlands have always felt that we're trying to keep up with these guys. So nothing's going to change. We're still going to be trying to keep up with these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, please. You're the best.
Mags is the best. It's been a lot. We're fine. Everything is going to blow over and we'll continue to do what we want to do. I guess that'll kind of do it for this kind of special episode of whatever this is. Just Josh and Queen and Mags just talking it out. Clearing up some uncertainties and all that. Hopefully this just puts everything to bed. It makes everything kind of done and we can move forward with this. I know the rest of the people in Brainbusta are still going to continue to do what they do. Luke's going to readjust with some things, but he's still going to be releasing his football manager stuff and all of that kind of stuff. And Luke's not going away from Twitter, so you don't have to worry about that. But we're all going to just keep on keeping on. Queen, Mags, thank you for being here a lot. It's just, we've got, if we can focus on the positive of anything, is that this week is a giant week of wrestling. Whatever you watch wrestling-wise, there is something literally for everybody now.
Absolutely right, Josh. You're absolutely right with that. And I want to thank you for, kind of putting this out there to us and inviting us to be on so we can, chit-chat with us three here.
Yeah,
again, I'm echoing the Queen there. Thanks a lot for this, Josh. I said just before we started recording how I feel that this might be cathartic and help me process what went on, because we, like I said, we were just like everyone else in Twitter. We had no clue what was going on, and we had to deal with it as well as find new homes for our podcasts. Yeah. This has really helped me a lot to basically understand where we're going to go from here, and the future's bright. Simple as that.
Yes, it is. We're all fine. Enjoy the wrestling week, whether you're watching SmackDown, whether you're watching AEW, NXT, Total Divas, Impact, Raw, whatever you're going to watch, New Japan, whatever the hell you're going to watch, there's something for you. Enjoy the wrestling week. And also, to end on a funny note, the way I would, guys, my hair is blue. Let's talk about it.
Yes, Joshua Banks. Work.
I am Sasha Banks all the way. Watch out, boss.
The best post was when you had a plastic bag on your head to make sure it didn't get wet in the shower. That was absolutely...
I couldn't find my shower cap, so I'm just like, let's cut this plastic bag open and just stick it on my head. And when I got in the shower, it was like... I'm like, wow, this is a noise. But it's fine. My hair didn't run, so my pillowcase is blue, so that's nice. Everything, it's just blue everywhere. Not mad.
Oh, Josh.
Of course, I have to end it on I have to try and make people laugh this week, so good time, I guess. All right, guys, thank you very much, and I guess the next time you'll hear me is the Josh Robinson Show, Tuesday, for more fun than this, that's for sure. All right, see you, everyone.